Hello and welcome to a Symbox automation demo. Today we'll be taking you through a demo scenario. So this demo scenario starts off at the CRM where the sales team and the customer have agreed and want to proceed with the order. Symbox will integrate via API into the CRM to retrieve those approved opportunities. Then we'll create a customer onboarding workflow instance for each one of those opportunities, present validated forms to relevant teams in order to input further details. And then we'll actually trigger RPA process, a robotic process, in order to create an invoice on the Xero Finance platform. So this demo scenario is actually based off a real life scenario. And the customer previously was performing all of these tasks manually. So the handoff between the CRM and the team actually entering the order details, or fleshing out the order details, if you like, was all manual. So the manual handoff between the sales and solution architect there. So it was emails being sent out and phone calls happening. You'd often get inconsistencies between the data, and the quality of the data was suspect. And you would have a manual handoff to the billing team, who would then create the invoices as well. And then they'll have to spend the time and create the invoices themselves on Xero. And with any manual processes, errors can be made, which increase the iterations of attempts. And then also the delay between the billing teams and the order team to create the invoice, because they might not be immediately available. So the values which Symbox added by having our automated process sit on top of this is that we're able to track, so we're fully fledged workflow where everyone's able to see what's going on at all the times and have error handling around that. We had the automation of all the handovers from sales technical through to billing. We're able to drive out the performance management, so set SLAs against these manual tasks. I provide digital interfaces, so structured, ensuring that the data coming into Symbox was correct and validated, which reduced the risk of manual errors going into the invoices. We automated the trigger of the robot, so there's no delay within, and all of this ensures that we have accurate invoices from the first cycle, and the workflow is visible across the entire organization. So what we'll do now is actually log into the Symbox platform. So Symbox is fully web accessible, so there's no need to install any applications to the client side. What you're seeing here is us initiating the app that we've created within Symbox. And already it's kicked off and called the CRM HubSpot via API and retrieved back the details of the approved opportunities. This is the process diagram behind that app, and you can see there that's the first activity, and it's calling the HubSpot opportunities. So that's actually an outbound connector which has been configured on Symbox. All of our APIs, both inbound and outbound, are done via configuring on Symbox rather than developing. So I'll show you the configuration behind this one. So you can see here you have the different sectors. So you can configure different authentications, different headers, different parameters, path segment, body, and when you configure it, you can actually use static values, or you can actually use dynamic values from the Symbox data model. So dynamic values might be a value that has been retrieved from another API, or it might be a value which has been entered in the Symbox via form. Here we've just tested the API, so you can see the JSON that's returned. So if we step back into our process, you can see these are the approved opportunities, and we're going to onboard them. And what that will do is actually spawn off sub-processes, which is the custom onboarding process for each instance. If we jump into active apps, you can see 2 instances within the app list there. And this is one of the manual tasks, which the solution architects will actually be taking care of. So they're presented with the data from the API, from HubSpot of the order. Then they're asked to fill in additional data on this form. And the form's actually again created on Symbox using the low-code form builder on Symbox. With this form builder, you're able to create an interface which will validate the data the user's inputting. We see our customer onboarding workflow here. You can see that now the task will move to the second task, which is for the billing team. Again, they're asked to provide additional data on this order. And then once they do that, they're actually able to kick off the robot. And that will kick off the robot. So we'll be passing the data of that particular order through to the RPA process. And we've got a flow for success and a flow for error. So let's have a look at the robot in action then. So the robot's been passed the data by the BPM. This is the order data retrieved from HubSpot and then added to via the users. And then it's inputting it in Xero. One thing to note here with Symbox, we're actually agnostic in terms of RPA partner. In this example, we're actually using UiPath. The robot's entered details into Xero, and now it's actually going to create the invoice. And then it will return the invoice back to Symbox. And now what we're seeing here after that is the verify invoice. So this is the manual task at the end for the commercial team to come in and actually view the invoice that the robot's created. So you can see here, this is the invoice that's been created. They get the final say to say whether it's approve or reject. And if they're happy, it'll send to the customer. So what I would like to do now is talk about the benefits that implementing a solution like this could offer to you. So at the top here, we've got the business benefits, and you can see that we've got 97% reduction in process cycle time. So this is by implementing end-to-end process orchestration. We have customers which have taken months, if not going into years, processes, and we've reduced that into days. And likewise, we've got customers which have taken hour-long processes, and we've reduced that to minutes. We've got an 82% improvement in data quality by implementing our digital forms. That's a low-code form builder. We've got a threefold work capacity created from existing team by implementing the process automation. So that's using APIs and RPA to free up your existing team. This coupled with the fact that humans work 8 hours for 5 days a week compared to a robot working 24/7. We've got a 96% reduction in admin work, again by implementing APIs and RPAs, so taking those manual tasks away from users and freeing them up. At the bottom, you've got the IT benefits of implementing something along these lines. So we've got a 10 to 20 times faster build time to go to production. This is in comparison to creating a similar solution from the ground up in a pure software development cycle. And you've also got the benefit that because it's low code, you can actually get citizen development. So you can actually get members of your own organization to build. And this will reduce your costs by 30 to 50%. And then also just because you've got your citizens involved in the development, you get greater business adoption because the stakeholders are on hand every day, and the people who know the business process are actually creating the business process on Symbox.